Brentford goal was all Arsenal mistakes. Okay, Habibi. The Arsenal goal was also all Brentford mistakes. They literally scored 2 pinball goals where Flecken was unable to clear one. And the other one as well was literally 2 mistakes in a row. And then Martinelli scores from pinball. And then Martinelli scores. We always like to point out the positives that's happening in Arsenal's direction. No one here speaks about the negatives. Out here, everyone talking about get me off full screen. Get me off full screen. You can clip me up even when I'm not on full screen, Terry. I don't want to take over the football terrace. But when it comes I'm used to the big screen. I've been on TV before. Anyway, when it comes to this conversation, look, I'm just everyone sat here talking about this great, unbelievable Arsenal. Like we watched a different game. Okay, the Brentford scored from a series of Arsenal mistakes. Okay, guess what? Arsenal scored from a series of Brentford mistakes. So where do we go from here? Why do we never say the stuff about the other direction? It's always like, oh my God, look, Arsenal is so amazing. You literally scored 3 pinball goals, literally the 3 jammiest goals I've seen all year long. And Brentford, you're talking about your injuries. Oh my God, we were against the grain. Havertz was injured. Have 3/4 of the Brentford players are injured, you frauds. Why don't you talk about the other side as well of the equation? Brentford had 3/4 of their team out. So everyone coming here acting like this is this marvelous win that's gonna send spine-tingling effects across the league is so full of shit. Today's game makes me reassured that the hyenas are nothing but let me land. The hyenas are nothing but loud animals that have no capability of doing anything, because this game does not show me that I'm supposed to sit up here and be like, wow, Arsenal are so amazing. Today doesn't prove anything. Today's game was a boring game of football where Arsenal scored 3 lucky goals, and that's how they ended up with the 3 points.
Sam, okay. So to your point, who has sat on the football terrace and said that this win is sending spine-tingling fear down any opponent of Arsenal's back? Who has said that?
The fraud with the hat.
Okay, Sam, my mum taught me a valuable lesson. You've got 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen before you respond. I did not say what you just said. I said performances like this, where you have got adversity, can send messages to the opponent. I didn't say it has.
Did Brentford have adversity today? Can you tell them?
There's only one person on this panel with.
Why are you not responding? Can you tell me why? Did Brentford have adversity?
There's only one person on this panel with spine-tingling fear right now, and that is the guy at the bottom left who refuses to sit there and back his team as winning the league. So talking about Arsenal and, this performance doesn't send spine-tingling things down the league. Well, I expect you to now say then, Hussam, that you are the favourites to win the league. Am I right?
Okay, Brandon, welcome to the terrace, my brother. As you can see on the top left, the title of the stream is Brentford versus Arsenal highlights.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Can I ask you a
I'm not here to talk about Liverpool, mate. I'm here to talk about Arsenal.
Of course, to deflect from that, because earlier on this season, I saw him screaming, "Golazzo, Golazzo, Golazzo," when Liverpool put 3 past Man United from 3 Man United mistakes. This weekend, if they pump Man United and we're making mistake after mistake, he'll celebrate and he'll be saying, what is your little saying? Amazing.
Yeah, but what did I just say?
Brilliant wonderment, or whatever that bollocks is you say.
Yeah, but what did I just say? See, you never say the truth. You always misquote me. You always misquote me. Say the truth. Your face was turning red and your veins were popping on straight facts because I misquoted you. Say the whole quote I just gave. What's the whole quote?
What quote?
I didn't just say that Arsenal scored from Brentford mistakes. I said Brentford also scored from Arsenal mistakes. But my problem was listening to everyone is acting like all the Arsenal goals came through brilliant play. They didn't.
Can I tell you guys, I'll fly back to you guys in a minute. I hear your point there, Hassan, but to answer it properly is this. You know, when you've won a lot of games this season, Liverpool, where your opponents have made mistakes, but the frequency of those mistakes is because of the higher pressure, quality balls that your team puts upon them. So, for instance, today, that first goal of Arsenal's excellent counter-attack, really good press on the edge of the box that forced their players into mistakes, an excellent shot from Partey, which forces a save from the goalkeeper, which is then put in as an example. We all know that Arsenal's corners and set pieces create chaos. That doesn't need any explanation as to why that is more by design than luck today for Arsenal because of its frequency. And look, the third goal, yes, it was a brilliant cross from Nwaneri. It was such a good cross, the clearance was difficult because he crossed early, which meant the defender wasn't set. And then it was a brilliant finish. So I ain't stating that there wasn't any fortune to those goals, but most of the top teams score goals, which I often consider to have a little bit of luck. But when they keep getting that luck, I keep the same energy. It's because of the quality and the pressure. Why do the better attacking teams consistently, year on, year out, win more penalties than the worst attacking teams by and large?
Brentford's goal is also through the quality and pressure of Brentford then.
So I'll tell you where Brentford's goal is good, and they do this on a regular basis. Yes, absolutely. Is they can win what they do a lot as a team is they invite the pressure on them. They invite the press, so that they can pass through very directly. Now, they didn't need to press to win that ball back because it was a poor pass from Odegaard, but they are a team, and I think it was Mbomo himself that said it. We are a team that can get the ball in our own box, and within 3 moves or 3 passes, 3 touches, it can be checkmate and they can score. So the frequency of them doing it is why it's crazy. Now, from an Arsenal point of view, they're going to focus on their team's mistakes. Of course they are. But at the same time, Brentford fans will say that's what we do. So there is an element of course, when people review their own teams, there's going to be an element of bias. I will openly admit, when it comes to the Terrace, we always say this. We always focus on the member of the traditional top 6 when we're giving analysis, more so than the opponent. So I get your point. But you just seem really rattled, my friend. And I don't understand why, because you're...
No, I'm not rattled. I'm annoyed because I feel like there is always like one-sidedness to these debates. I understand what you're saying. Of course, I know. It's the same as my channel. I'm not out here doing, Man United and Wolves analysis. I only talk about the top clubs. I agree with you. But the reality of the situation is today's game, okay, Brentford scored from an Arsenal mistake, no problem. But actually, Brentford's goal was more beautiful than any of the Arsenal goals because that finish from Mbeumo was a world-class finish. The Arsenal goals all came from Brentford errors. So let's not say one side. And Gunnar Solskjaer is talking about adversity because Havertz is injured. Brentford had about 8-9 injuries as well.
Martinelli wasn't a good finish. Martinelli wasn't a good finish. Are you skunk?
So which one was a better finish, Martinelli or Mbeumo? Be honest.
Gabriel Martinelli.
I think it's Gabriel Martinelli, bro.
Wow.
What are we talking about, bro?
Martinelli literally hit it on the volley.
What are we doing?
That Mbeumo finish from that angle with Calafiori in front of him, hitting it near post. That's like Salah. That's like Jamal.
Can I just say something very quickly?
Yes, go on,
yes. But listen. Okay, so I see where basically the Arsenal fans are coming from. I get where Hussam is coming from. Listen, let me just say this, right? All 3 goals today were 3 avoidable goals if you look at like defensively the mistakes and everything else. But if I'm going to give an honest assessment when it comes to this game, is that sometimes you have to be there to capitalize on the mistakes when they're handed to you, right? And that's what Arsenal did amazingly well today. Positioning, they were in the right places at the right time to finish up those chances, right? And listen, that first half, if I'm going to be real, it was a poor first half from Arsenal, right? Brentford took the lead. The Arsenal were not really booking their ideas in that first half. But once they got that equalizing goal, you could see they got motivation from that, and it's what spurred them on in the second half. And listen, I'm going to be very honest, right? I will give credit to Arteta for the lineup. I'm very impressed with the fact that he gave Ethan an opportunity today, right? Because this looked like one of those games where he could have easily benched Ethan because it was an away game to a team, that do very well at home. But he was very, very brave today to basically bring 2 players who are very, very good creative-wise since you've lost a player like Saka, to give an opportunity to Ethan Nwaneri, even though when he played him out in the right, I was very surprised by that. But listen, Ethan today was arguably for me one of your best players today, right? In that second half, he had a great game, right? And I'll be very honest with you. They were obviously, you could always break things down and say, there's things that Arsenal definitely should improve on. But I will say this, right? At the end of the day, when you see Liverpool in the form that they're in, sometimes you have to, when you have games like this, you just have to take it. You understand what I'm saying, right? You just have to be, all right, cool. There's things we need to improve on. There's things we need to work on. But listen, we got the win, which is what matters. Away to Brentford has never been. It's not an easy team to play against. I know they lost their last game.
Did you just say we? Are you an Arsenal fan?
I'm not. I'm speaking from an Arsenal point of view.
Oh,
I'm
my bad. Sorry. I thought he's an Arsenal. My bad.
No.
No, I'm not. I like doing this where I talk from an Arsenal point of view. And listen, I'm not speaking for Arsenal fans because Arsenal fans may look at it very different from the way I say it. But I'm just kind of looking at this from a neutral point of view, right? If Arsenal are really serious about trying to win this league, I said it to you last time I was here, Hussam, where I said teams that challenge for the league or teams that win the league are now always going to have 5-star games. You're going to have these games where you're going to struggle. You guys literally had that against Leicester. You were 1-0 down. They were very good defensively, and you had to break them down and get the win from going from behind, right? And Arsenal today against Brentford, they were on the back foot. They were 1-0 down. They didn't play well in that first half. They got an equalizing goal. You can say it's a jammy goal. Say whatever you want. But at the end of the day, they were in the right place at the right time to get those goals. And what matters is leaving Brentford with 3 points. And with everything that people have been saying about Arsenal, with the Saka injury, how are they going to deal with it, this and this and this, I still think, I'll be honest, I still think they're still going to struggle without Saka. I'm not gonna sit here and say just because of the win today, my opinion and basically what I think is still changed. It's still not changed because I still see the
Omar, you want to know the problem with everything you said? That they aren't saying this before I came here. They were not saying this. They're doing all this like kumbaya. We came up against adversity and we did this. If they came out here and said, "Listen, today's performance was not unbelievable. We were lucky with the way
that I'm stopping you, Sam, because that isn't true. Brandon was getting cooked for being too negative.
Yes, Brandon.
As an example, and I also know as well, Sam, if I would have done an Man United Newcastle match reaction and just said, their 2 goals came from our mistakes. In fact, their whole pressure came from my manager's mistakes of picking the wrong midfield. Everybody, including you, would have gone, no, give Newcastle credit. They capitalized. They stepped on the opportunities. They finished the chances. But because Arsenal fans have done the opposite, where they've spoke about the good things their team did, you're fuming about it. For me, and that's fine. You're a rival of theirs. You're allowed to do it. You're not hosting a neutral show. But for me, you're just showing that maybe this is why you do think Arsenal are favourites and you feel really pressured by them. Maybe that's what you're showing here.
Yeah.